stakes are high in this fast-paced game of chance, but these 6 players have already shown they've got the chips to compete for the massive $1.5 million jackpot.
Poker comes home as the World Poker Tour steams up the Mississippi.
The World Poker Tour is a series of international poker tournaments featuring some of the biggest games and largest payouts on the planet. Tonight, we're in Tunica, Mississippi, the birthplace of poker, at the Jack Binion World Poker Open, hosted with the down-home hospitality of the Horseshoe and Gold Strike casinos. Join us as some of the biggest names in poker match wits and winnings as they compete for a prize pool of over $1.5 million. At the beginning of the tournament, 160 contenders threw down $10,000 to vie for one of only 6 spots at the WPT final table. By the end of the night, only one winner will join the ranks of 11 other champions in a battle for millions at the WPT Championship. And now, down to the WPT Arena, where poker champion Mike Sexton and Hollywood home game master Vince Van Patten are standing by.
Welcome to the World Poker Tour. We're in the heart of the South in Tunica, Mississippi for the Jack Binion World Poker Open. And Vince, you know I love it in the South. How you doing here?
I'm doing great, Mike. I tell you, this is the land of Huck Finn, of Tom Sawyer, of Jack Binion.
As you know, poker was born and bred along the Mississippi River. Right. And our host, Jack Binion's father, actually started poker tournaments. And that means something to these players.
Now, these guys have also traveled from all over the world to play the Jack Binion World Poker Open. Let's take a look at who they are.
Our chip leader by a wide margin with 613,000 in chips is 48-year-old professional poker player David the Devilfish Elliott from Hull, England. Devilfish is not only one of Europe's great poker players, he's also one of the great characters in the poker world.
Now, if anybody could stick the pitchfork back into the Devilfish, it's going to be the second chip leader, Phil Ivey. This is one of the young guns of poker. I mean, he just dominated the field last year. He's got a lot of chips. He could do it.
But he's not even the youngest player at this table.
That's true.
Jeremy, the Kid Tinsley, is a 25-year-old, but amazingly, he's been a professional poker player for 6 years. He's one of the latest of a long list of great poker players to come out of Texas. I love his style. He's starting out today with 208,000 in chips.
Okay, fourth chip position, 194,000, Tommy Grimes. He's a professional poker player, very solid, very crafty player, and he's going to have to use that today if he's going to win this thing.
Next, with 162,000 in chips, is a great story and a great individual, Buddy Williams. After a childhood accident, he took up poker. He will definitely be the sentimental favorite to win here today.
Okay, you talk about another story, Johnny Donaldson. He's aged 60 years old. He works in Arkansas. He builds houses. He laid off poker for over 30 years. He decided to have a family, and he was going to raise the family. Well, he's back, and he made the final 6. He's here today, and his family's here. So let's see if he can do it.
Well, Vince, that's a great story, but the real story here tonight is going to be who's going to knock the Devilfish off his mountain of chips. As we know, anything can happen in poker. It's going to be quite a battle. Let's get to the action at the Jack Binion World Poker Open.
Okay, it's going to be up to the 25-year-old Jeremy Tinsley to act first. He's going to take a look at his cards. He's got a 6-8.
Action's on Jeremy first.
He's not going to play this hand.
Well, Vince, it's really remarkable that we get to see these players' cards and how they play every week here on the World Poker Tour.
There is no more mystery here. We are seeing the cards. That makes it very, very interesting.
It really is dramatic, and it's also educational to get to watch these great players. You can become a better poker player by watching the World Poker Tour.
Buddy Williams going out.
Buddy folds.
Superstar player Phil Ivey not going to play. Now it's up to Johnny Donaldson, who has picked up an ace.
Now, Johnny Donaldson is just your everyday guy. He's a building contractor. His wife's a school teacher. He's got 2 daughters in college, and he's up playing against these superstars of poker, Vince.
Sure is. Look at this. He's going to raise it up first hand.
He comes in for 20,000. Johnny Donaldson, the only guy with a job at the table.
Tommy Grimes has a Jack King, but he's not going to play it.
Tommy folds.
Devilfish going out with an ace deuce.
Devilfish folds.
Well, Johnny Donaldson certainly not intimidated on the first deal. He's coming in there firing, and he picks up the pot. Johnny Donaldson, a guy who's only been playing in public poker rooms for less than 1 year, picks up the first pot in the World Poker Open.
Oh, yeah. He made it look easy there, Mike.
Well, Vince, a poker tournament works like this. Everybody buys in for the same amount of money. Now, you must play until you lose all your chips or you win all the chips that are in play. And basically, the prize money is paid out over the first couple of tables. And Vince, today's tournament is No Limit Hold'em.
The greatest game in the world. You can bet anything you want at any time. This is the Cadillac of poker games. For those of you who are not quite familiar with this game, we're going to give you a little lesson in how to play No Limit Texas Hold'em right now.
To start, each player is dealt 2 cards face down. Then, 5 community cards, cards everyone can play, are placed face up on the table. Each player combines their 2 hidden down cards with the community cards to make their best 5-card poker hand.
And betting is really what this game is all about. Let me explain. You get your first 2 cards, you make a bet. Then the dealer puts the first 3 community cards on the table. In poker, we call this the flop. They bet again. Then the dealer puts the 4th community card on the table. This is called the turn card. Once again, big round of betting. Then the last card. We call this the river. It's turned up on the table. They make a big last round of betting. Turn your cards over, you see who wins.
They call it No Limit Hold'em because there's no limit on how much a player can bet. At any moment, he can declare that he is all in and push all of his chips into the pot.
Right, and that makes chip position, or how many chips you have, very, very important in this game.
Now, Vince, as we know, although Devilfish has a commanding lead right now with 600,000 in chips, we know what can happen in No Limit Poker. It can turn around in an instant.
Now, Mike, what's interesting about that is Devilfish took a little hit there, and I tell you, if you take 2 or 3 of these hits, you know, you're back down with everyone else.
On Buddy first.
Okay, well, Buddy Williams is going out with a 4 deuce. Phil Ivey's going to take a look at his hand. He doesn't have much of a hand. He has 6-9. John Donaldson also leaving with a 10-9 offsuit.
And Tommy Grimes folds his hand, and here we go.
The Devilfish is looking in his hand. He has a Queen-6 offsuit, and he's going to raise it up.
Devilfish makes it $19,000 to go. $15,000 raise.
He's trying to steal the pot from the kid here right off the bat.
Yeah, Jeremy Tinsley, the kid, has a Jack-Queen.
Jeremy calls it $15,000.
Now, Jeremy has Queen-Jack. The Devilfish just has Queen-6 offsuit. Let's see what flops.
Here's the flop.
Flop comes Jack,
Flop
Jack,
comes
Ace.
Jack,
Man.
A great flop for Jeremy Tinsley. The Devilfish checks on the flop.
This is a dream flop. Look at Jeremy. Now look at this.
Now, what will the kid do here?
Jeremy's got 3 of a kind. He's checking. This is a beautiful sand job.
Look
This is a sandbag in here.
I'll tell you that. What a play by the kid here. Now the 5 of spade comes off. Well, now that puts a 3rd spade out on the board.
Look at this. He's trapped the Devilfish. Devilfish is going to bet this.
Devilfish is going to bluff at it right here.
Watch and learn, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you do it. And look at Jeremy looking at his hand. He's doing a beautiful acting job here. This guy should get a SAG card, go to Hollywood, because this guy knows how to play it.
I'll tell you. Look at him.
Look at this guy contemplating.
Now, we know he's going to play. It's just a matter if he's going to raise it or just call it.
But he's really trying to sell like he doesn't want to call. Now look at this reluctant call. Notice that? That's beautiful. That's beautiful artwork right there.
It's $25,000 Devilfish bet, and he called.
Last card coming up.
And it's a queen.
Oh, man.
The kid has made a full house, but that also has given Devilfish 2 pair,
He's
queens
got
and jacks.
queens and jacks with his kicker. He'll play the board. He has an ace kicker. So this is very interesting at this point.
Let's see what the Devil does now. He's checked.
Devil checked, and now Jeremy's gonna bet, of course.
He's bet $55,000.
Jeremy bets $55,000.
And look at this, he's begging for a call. Of course, he's got a full house, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, remember, the Devilfish has made queens up on this last card by catching a queen at the river.
Oh, yeah.
He's trying to figure out, would this kid really check an ace on the flop if he had one? Now, remember, it's cost $55,000 more for Devilfish to call. If he calls, we know he's going to lose this pot. It'll cost him over $100,000 right here on the second hand of the World Poker Open. Whoa.
Yeah, things can turn quickly. You're absolutely right. If he
And
takes
he may
this
yet
loss,
even raise it.
That's true. He has that option. That would be a disaster for this man.
It certainly would.
But he's thinking about it. It's tough to throw this away. How is he going to...
Well, I'm just wondering if he just wants to look the kid up. If he just wants to see what he has right here on the first hand.
Now, look
You know,
at him.
he knows the kid checked on the flop, then called a $25,000 bet, and then let out and bet again. I think he wants to see if he would trap him on the, and just sort of get a line on his style of play here. He's very curious as to what the kid has in his hand. He may sacrifice the $55,000 just to see what the kid has. He certainly don't want to give away $55,000, but he may think his queens are the best hand.
Devilfish really trying to figure this out. He studies. He's got to call.
And he does call it. Look at this. He does want to see the cards.
He's not going to like this.
He's not going to like it when he sees it.
Welcome to Texas, says Jeremy.
He wins the pot. A full house for the kid on the first hand. And the crowd loves it. He's a local here. He actually won an event here a year ago, Vince. So he has a lot more experience than people give him credit for, even though he's so young. He's been a professional player for about 6 years, I believe.
A couple of these guys really like to take the lead, so I'm going to give them the ball and let them run with it if I get the opportunity, and just pick my spot.
Well, Jeremy, the kid Tinsley has got to feel good about that first pot he played, Vince.
Oh, man. Full boat, and you get action? I mean, that's a dream come true. He's got to love that.
And he's also got to love it because he's up against what many consider the big favorite here, the most fearless player at the table, David the Devilfish Elliott. The kid took him right on in hand one.
And it's going to be up to our man Johnny Donaldson to act first in this spot. Takes a look at his cards. He's really got a bad hand. He's chucking it. Tommy Grimes is also going out.
Now the Devilfish has picked up 2 6s, and he raised it, comes in for $20,000. Ooh, and look at this, Vince. The kid has picked up 2 7s.
Oh, man. What a nice position for the kid at this point. 2 7s. Little does he know the Devilfish has 2 6s, but this is nice. Devilfish. It sounds like out of a James Bond movie, the evil nemesis.
Jeremy calls.
He's just going to call it.
Buddy folds and Phil folds. They get out of the way. The same 2 players, the kid and the veteran, tackling each other again already in the early stages of this tournament.
Here comes the flop.
King 4 deuce off.
Flop comes King 4 deuce offsuit.
Now this really helps neither player. They both still have a nice pair.
The Devilfish checks with the 2 6s.
Jeremy still is a statue. Doesn't give anything away in his body language at all.
Now if you're sitting there with Jeremy,